Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. It's about time I got on and continued on with my 5-tag book that's inspired by the lovely Tracy Fox. So that's what I'm going to do today. Got to make a few more pockets and bits and pieces for the pages before we put it all together. So I hope that you are all fit and healthy and that you're getting some crafty time in. I've been hanging out to hit the craft room, so very happy to be in here today. Meant to be out in the garden actually, but the weather's not very friendly. It's a bit windy and everything, so I thought that's a good excuse to hide in the craft room. So what I have done since I saw you last with this was printed out some awesome photos that the lovely Carol, hi Carol, sent to me. She knew I was doing this 5-tag book with the squirrels, and she had some beautiful pictures of squirrels that she had taken. So she sent them to me, so I've printed them out. Aren't they just cute? Now, I've lost some of the detail in the print, especially of that one, but it's still really cute. So I'm going to try and incorporate these where I can. So I have just cut this one down and rounded the corners, and I'm going to slip this one probably up in this top tuck that we've got. Might have his head poking out. I was going to have his little butt poking out, but I might put a tab down here. So we'll have the tab up, what you'd call the top, which I'd assume. Oh, that's sort of the top, isn't it? Now I've gone and confused myself. Anyway, I think the tab would probably look best up there, and then we can have his little head hanging out like that. So we've got to do that. Also, while I'm thinking about it, I've put my book in some order so I know what I'm doing, hopefully. I have this beautiful picture. I love this, and I'm thinking it really would work as a little pocket. So I'm going to back this onto something and then cut it out and stick it on this page as a little pocket. So I think we'll do that first. So I've just got some book fly page here. And we'll use that to back it with. So I will do that first. I'll just chop some of it off. It's been a busy week for me, so it's nice to have a day in the craft room. I want to get this done and then get on with the organising in here. And yeah, I might watch a whole lot of people's videos while I'm organising. Got to catch up on a pile. So I'm just sticking it on the book page to make it a little more sturdy. So I'll let that dry for a bit, and then we will cut around it. While I'm doing that, I'm thinking of what tab. I do have a bit of fabric. I don't know if it's quite what I want though. It is a nice colour. I'm just going to cut a bit of this out and see what I think. Just debating which way I want to do this. Could even tie it. Just thinking if I put an eyelet in there and tie it and have a scrappy bow. Might need it a bit longer though. It'll sort of work. So I might grab my eyelets down and just see what I've got. Let's just have a look. Oh, have some nice ones here. It matches the colour. Or do we want a darker? Might go the darker brown. Now, I always get mixed up as to what hole. Looks like this is the big one. So, I'll turn these around. Like so. I'll do the big hole. There. Now before I do anything else I must ink. Got my walnut stain, but what I have lost, there it is my pad. So I printed these photos out on my photo mat paper. So they're quite white on the back. Giving them a bit of ink. Put a little eyelet in. Don't know how centered it is, but that's all right. Make sure we've got this the right way around. Beautiful. Or even if not a bow, just stapling it like that or something. Let's see. You can always do a single knot and then glue it if I have to. Might not even need gluing. Feels pretty good. So I'll fray this end up a bit more. I'll chop that a little bit off. That's quite cute. Just see how it slips in now. There we go, and that's pretty cute. We'll do something down the bottom probably. I'll play with that a bit sometime and get it sitting how I want. That's not too bad though. All right, so we'll leave that to the side and we'll cut out a squirrel here. And we want the bottom pretty straight if we can. Now, I think I wanted him on this side. Looks about right. I've kind of messed up my order now, you see. But anyway, we'll put him here and be happy with it. Yeah, he goes quite nicely there with the greens and everything. So, just debating, I like it like that. So we'll be cutting a bit more of that off. So I'll grab a pencil. Flip him over. Draw a guideline. Hope that we got it where we want it. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll just take the tiniest little bit off again. Let's have a look now. That looks really good. All right, so now we will ink around him. It will just define him more from the page behind. So I hope everyone in the states affected by the flooding here in Australia are staying safe and dry and well. I know that we're having a whole lot more rain again for yous guys, which is so unfair on top of what yous have already been through, so you're in my thoughts. The world's a crazy place at the moment. Sort of try and avoid watching the news a bit because, yeah, you want to have some days that are stress-free, which is hard at the moment. All right, just trim this now that I've inked it, always the way. Just a really tiny bit. So I'll put that on like that. Now, debating whether I want to, just thinking which way is it going to. It's going to be in the book, like a page like that. I might stick around the 3 sides. My glue is really keen to come out these last few days. Must learn not to open it the full way. It's very temperamental. Oh, now, I like that field observations down there. I might stick him just above the field observations so we can still see it. Yeah, that looks good. It's so cute. Love squirrels. We don't have them here, but we do have possums, which are quite sort of similar. Not quite as cute, I don't think, but they're still pretty cute. Okay, so now I've got to figure out what we're going to slip into that one. Now, our options are, we have these. We have our photos from Carol. We have a couple more of these. These are the printables, of course, out of the Foxy Rag number 8, I'm pretty sure it was. I love that. It's like foraging. Maybe he'd look good in there. Yeah, probably cut him down a little bit. He doesn't look too bad either. Oh, we've got these smaller ones. Oh, this big one. I think we'll use him because he's just gorgeous. So we might leave him as a journaling card. So we will trim him down just a tad. This side needs some trimming. And I'll cut it down just a little bit so it slips in a bit easier. Like like that. Then I might do a ruffle or something up there, I think, with some fabric. And I can sit in like that. All right, so, or we could use one of our leaves again for him. No, I think we'll do fabric. I like doing my fabric ruffles. So let me just grab my scraps again. These are longer strips, so I might see what we've got in there. We do have some green in here as well. So I can do, I just want a little thin ruffle. I could do it green. All right, let's just do green. Save dilly-dallying. So I'm just going to cut a nice length of that off. It's a bit wide for my liking, so I will trim it down. Like so. My chair's getting creaky. I think it's complaining that I'm sitting on it lately. So, I thought just a bit of a messy ruffle. Now, I didn't make it real long, so it would have to be... Now, is it too thick still? It might be. Let me cut it down a little bit more. If I can, that's not going to work. I'll just cut it. It'll definitely be a messy ruffle the way I'm going. I do want it frayed though. It's alright if you cut crooked, as long as you're frayed, you don't really care so much then. So, now I think we must ink and debate whether to, I do like to corner around. Especially when you're a crooked cutter, I think it just makes things look a bit neater. And of course, ink. And the back, don't forget the back. So now what I'm going to do is, we want him that way, don't we? I'll sew this on as I go, and I'll just tuck bits under as I go to make my ruffly bit. So this is my little messy ruffle on the top of my journaling card. So we can slip that in now. That fits nicely in there. There's another pocket done. Now, we've done that, done that, done that. Now we've got to figure out what else we're going to do. Might make better like a flip up maybe, something a bit different. I'll probably do that with similar fabric. We got there, that's, yeah, so we can sew that on if we want as a flip. So this looks like a good size. It's almost a bit too long. Just figuring out which way I want to do this. Alright, and I'm debating whether I want to sew around this card a bit as well, which I might do just for something different. So what I'm going to do is sew this fabric to the card, and I'll go right around the card as well. And I will ink it first. I shall be back. So I've sewed the little fabric bit on, and I've gone around with some straight and zigzag stitch. I'm just going to trim that now. So once that's flipped up, it can still be written on. Now what I'm going to do is just run some stitching across the top there so that we can flip it up. So I've finished sewing my little flip here. Did I cut that then? No. So it just goes up like that. So we can always put something underneath it too, but I'll probably worry about that after. Now I have these tree bits which I like for a tuck. They sort of look odd sideways though, don't they? They could be a belly band. Let me just cut them down a bit. Might use them. Why not? That's what I always say. Not just using scraps. So we'll back that. Chop some of it off. And our end book page will fit it nicely. So it is a bit crooked, but I'll try and straighten it up once we've got it backed. Okay, so he's gonna sit just like that, I reckon. Grab my pencil. And I'll do a mark there and there and there and there. to find the marks I made. There's one down there. I'm just getting it in the light the right way. Gives us a nice little belly band. Now, do I sew around this? We'll be sewing down those sides. So I'm just debating whether I sew along the top and the bottom. I'd have to change my cotton out though. Maybe I won't, just because of that fact. But I will ink. Go that way? Yeah, it must do, because that's the thicker. Yeah. So I'll just stick both sides down. I mean, we could make it a pocket so nothing slides through, but I think it will hold stuff. We will see. Here goes my glue again. Get it sort of straight there. Slip sliding away. Okay, so that's a nice little belly band for us. And we could try and slip him in there. Have his little tail poking out. Quite like that. That'll be easy. Let's do that. So I might use the 10mm rounder on him because he's quite a big card. See if I can get it in there right. So thank you so much, Carol, for these gorgeous photos. They're coming in very handy. Something a little different to put in here. Slip him in. I'll worry about whether I might put something a little over in the corner or whatever, but I'm going to do the finer details after. I'll probably do them off camera this afternoon while I catch up on YouTube videos. Just want to get the main bits and pieces done, and then I can sew them onto our little fabric hinges, which I'll show you how I do that. I'll be following along with Tracy's method to do that. So I decided I'm not going to do the last 2 pages. I will do them afterwards and just embellish them once we've got the book together. Really need to get it together. So what I've done is cut 3 pieces of this cotton or linen here. Same diff, I suppose. All the same size. They're approximately 3 inches wide and then about 6 1/4 in length. Just so they're about the same length as my tag straight line down here. So what I'm going to do now is layer these on top of each other, and then I'm going to sew pretty well down the middle, hopefully. So let me just layer them. They're not perfectly the same. That should not matter too much. Let's a little bit off. So that should do pretty well. All right, now I'll grab we'll see if my pencil works. And we'll go about halfway. So if we go about 4. And this is the line I want to follow with my stitch. Does that work? Lightly. So I might just pin that together so I don't move it around while I take it over to the sewing machine. So I'm just going to do a straight stitch down that line. So I have gone and sewn down the middle of my fabrics. So there are all my hinges ready to go. And I have got all my pages in order here, so I know the order that I want to put them in. So here comes the nerve-wracking part of putting these onto the fabric, and then especially the sewing around them. I'm hoping that my sewing machine survives. So we want to do the middle page first. So I'm going to put the 2 first pages over that way and the 2 last pages over the other side of me. Now we've got 6 hinge bits here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. So we only need 5 because we've only got 5 tags. So the first one we fold together and use that as one. So I might stick that together. I think would be my best bet. Do is just sandwich that. It's looking pretty good. Open it up so we don't stick all our other pages to it. So that's our first hinge bit. So we're going to sandwich that. Just bend my other pages backwards. In here like so is the plan. So let's see how we go with that. So, I might just try and keep it sort of level with one of the lines on my line I was going to say here. What you call that stuff? You know what I mean. Get some glue on here. We are sewing around it, so I suppose I don't need too much. Make sure it's lined up nicely. Like so. I might just take my card out of my belly band. Then we've got to do the same on this side. So that is our first page put in where we want it. So the next thing we have to do is go and put our last 2 pages here and here, and our first 2 on here and here. So I am going to do that off camera. You've seen how I've done one, so it's the same process for the next 2. So here is my 5 tag book, all sort of bound together. I'm quite happy with that. With this last page, I found it best to put the page up on top of the others, situated where I wanted it while it was flipped open, and then fold the fabric over just to make sure I had enough give in the fabric for it to sit nicely at the front. You can see they're a bit out of line there, but it doesn't matter too much because there is give in it to push them into line like that. So the next thing I have to do is straight stitch. I'm going to all the way around each of my tags. Now that's going to be the difficult part, but what I'm going to do is let this just dry really well for a while so I don't kill my sewing machine. Then I will sew and then I'll be back to show you. This is my tag book all sewn around. Hopefully I did it all right. I know on one page I had a few whoopsies, but that's all right. Now the spine's not looking too bad. A little bit crooked, but pretty good otherwise. So that's going to be our front cover. Then we've got those pages. So my stitching's a bit wonky, but I was just really thankful that myself and my sewing machine survived this. So I managed not to sew this down just, so that's good. Now this one I had issues on because the pocket, I didn't quite catch this pocket, but I did put little holes in it, so I'll probably stick something over that just to cover that up. I was going to go around it again, but I thought no, I'll just put something there and that will fix that. And then that's the last page. I lifted my little leaf up so I could sew around underneath it. And that's the back. So it wasn't too bad and it's worked out quite nicely. So now I am going to go off camera and spend the afternoon embellishing this while I watch YouTube and tidy up my room, and then I'll be back on for a flip through. So I'm ready for a flip through of my 5 tag book. I could have kept going with it. It's a lot more that I could have done, which is what happens with all of our projects, I'm sure. But I thought I'd better stop because I really want to get cleaning my craft room again. So this is it. It's my little squirrel 5 tag book. So I've used some of my leaves in it. I just put 3 in it. I put my front on. My tag actually fits in there, which is lovely. And I've used a few of Tracy's labels in here too. So I've got one that says Woodland. Thought that was fitting for the front cover, so I'll slip him in there. I put just a bit of fibre under my squirrel tag. I used some stamps that I've stamped off of Tim Holt's Field Label stamp set. I have a whole heap of them that I've stamped onto tea-dyed paper. So I used one of those, one of the beautiful pictures from the Foxy Rag. You saw me cut out this and make this little tuck spot out of a book page. And that's got this little card in it. And I used a bit of fern. It's just plastic fern. I've used it elsewhere in here and I had this off cut, so I just put it there. Why not? This is our little flip up, and underneath I've just stuck one of the last pictures I had left of squirrels. Another Tracy label, identified specimen. Another couple of labels here just to fill in the page a bit more and add some interest. And I stuck my leaf onto the little belly band here. And this is one of Carol's beautiful photographs. It's gorgeous, and the belly band sort of hides him, which is nice. Just gotta be careful pushing him in. And then this is another book picture that I cut out and made a little tuck spot with, which you probably saw me do in this video. And another Tracy label, Vegetation, with another one of Carol's beautiful photos. Love that one. I'll just got to be careful slipping things into the pockets because they're collaged pages. Sometimes the little tags get stuck on some of the collaged pieces. There's the other bit of the fan that I cut off there. Another book page pocket, backed onto some fabric. Beautiful little tag. So much fun using those Foxy Rag printables in this. It's a very cute little book. More little labels. I used that one with some fabric just to sort of take your eye away from the fact I didn't quite stitch on here. Oh well. And when I was stitching, this journal card was still in there, so it got a bit bent, but that's all right. That slips in there. Then we've got a top tuck here with this tag, which is another one of Carol's beautiful photos. Another one of my field notes labels, and one of my wax seals that I made when I did my Crossbuyer videos. So that came in handy. I had one left and I wanted to stick it in here somewhere. And then on the back I have just stuck this beautiful picture and another label that says tree. So I love the way that turned out, very autumnal, beautiful squirrels. So thank you, Tracy, for the digitals and the idea. It was lovely to follow the tutorial on this. And thank you, Carol, for those squirrel pictures. They were heaps of fun to add to this, and just perfect because I did need a couple more. And I am time poor to go looking through all of my books, so that was wonderful. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Have a wonderful week, what's left of it, and I will see you again soon. Bye.